So me and Jordan first met when my best friend Calvin was heading to pick up his girlfriend, and I actually wanted to go see my girlfriend at the time, who was in the same town, so I went with him. And so Jordan was actually along and the whole time, and we didn't think anything of it. 2 years went by, and we actually reconnected again at my house when my friends were throwing a party, and just mutual friends. And from there, the rest was history. We just kind of hit it off, and that's kind of how it all started.
So we first met actually like 2 years before we met. He was best friends with my best friend's boyfriend, and they had come and picked us up in Columbus and brought us back to Lincoln, and then we never saw each other or spoke again for 2 years. And then we used to go, me and my girls from hair school used to go to his best friend's house for poker night, and he would always get home from work, put on his shoes, and leave again. So finally, one day when he was putting on his shoes, I ran up to him and I was like, "Hey, do you remember me? I'm the girl that you picked up in Columbus that one time." And he was like, "No, I don't remember you at all." So that was kind of how that happened, and stayed there and kind of partied throughout the night and got his number before we left and took a picture, and we never stopped talking after that.
So for our first date, Jordan just came over to my house. It was kind of lame. I didn't make her dinner or anything like that. We just rented a movie and watched a movie and had an early night, and she went back home, and that was it.
So for our first date, we were going to go to supper at Texas Roadhouse, and then we were going to go to a movie. And I think I had either work or school that day, and I had taken a nap, and I overslept, and I completely missed our first date. So I kind of bailed on him, and then I came over, and we just watched a movie at his house, and he actually had this big thing planned where he had balloons in his trunk and flowers, and they had died while they were in the trunk because I overslept and missed the date, and that's how he was going to ask me to be his girlfriend.
So I think I said I love you first, if I remember correctly, and it was at my parents' house for my little brother's birthday party. And it was one of those things where it just felt like the right time, and we both felt that way. And so I said it to her, and she said it back, and it was kind of early on, but I knew that we both were having the same feelings, and we haven't stopped since.
It was like probably a month after we had been dating, we went back to his parents' house in David City for his brother's birthday party, and we were sitting on the trampoline, and I was just babbing like I always do, and like mid-sentence he just blurted out, "I love you," and I like didn't hear it at first because I was in my conversation, and then I kind of looked at him. I was like, "Did you just say that?" And he was like, "Yeah, I love you." So that's kind of, he definitely said it first though, and he was full force with it.
I think I knew Jordan was the one for me when we both kind of went through some ups and downs, and she was there with me the whole time through both of those things, and when we made it through different ups and downs and just kind of things that life had put in front of us, there was a period of after being together a couple of years that I really knew that Jordan was the one for me.
I don't think there was ever really like that moment for me. I think it was more just like as time went on, things were just so easy with us, and it just felt like even though we had like been really fresh in the relationship, it felt like I had known him forever, and he always made me feel like really comfortable and supported. And I think just over time I kind of realized that he wasn't going anywhere. So as far as getting the ring, I
I asked my mom, and I told my parents that I was planning on doing it, and my mom actually came with me on Mother's Day to the mall, and I always ask for her help when it comes to those kinds of things, just because she is a woman, and she thinks very similar to Jordon as well, so that helps. So the two of us went into the mall, and we only went into one store, and I think it was the third or fourth ring that they showed us that I knew right away at that time that was the one, and I really wasn't interested in looking at any other ones because I knew what Jordon liked, and she had given me plenty of ideas in the past. So my mom was there to confirm that for me, and we went from there.
I loved it. He knew exactly what I wanted. I have been badgering him for probably a good 2 years to propose, and part of that was sending him a picture every time I saw one. So he knew exactly what I wanted, and it really surprised me. He got a Neil Lane, which I wasn't expecting, and the reason that he got that was because we watched The Bachelorette together all the time. So that was kind of cool because it was a little extra special.
I had the ring for a couple of months, and I actually left it in the possession of my parents, and they kind of helped me to come up with a plan. But we were taking a family vacation down to Arkansas and getting a houseboat, and I knew it was going to be a really pretty place and a good place to do that, and I knew it was something that she wasn't expecting at the time. So we went down there and had it planned that I would propose, me and my parents, that I would get it done around the end of vacation, on one of the last days. But things kind of changed, and it was towards the middle of vacation that my parents said, "Hey, we're going to this place." I asked around to some of the locals what would be a good place, and they recommended here. So we go to this place, and I tried to pull Jordon away, but she was being she was just interested in everything at the place. She was looking at all these exhibits, and it was hard to pull her away on my own. But when I did, we found a trail that was kind of off the beaten path, and we walked down the trail, and I had the ring in my pocket, and along the way Jordon stopped, and she picked up a rock, and she said, "This looks cool. It's different than anything that we have back home." And I grabbed one myself, and we thought it'd be nice to keep them as a souvenir and that kind of thing. And I figured once we got to the end of the trail, before we turned around, that would be the best spot to do it. I knew it would probably be something pretty cool at the end of the trail, and just a nice place to do it. And so just on a limb, just kind of winged it, we got to the end of the trail, and I asked her if she wanted to trade rocks with me, and she looked at my rock. It was kind of crappy and not near as nice as hers, and she kind of looked away, and at that time I threw the rock down and grabbed the ring out of my pocket really quick, and when she looked back, I had that instead of the crappy rock, and she just kind of was belated and broke out in tears, and I got down on one knee, and she said yes, and we walked the rest of the way, and met back up with my family, who already knew what was going on, and the rest was history.
So we were actually on our family vacation in Arkansas, and we were going to the visitor center, and they kept telling me we were going on a hike, and they wanted to dress up really nice for family pictures on this hike. And I was super against it. I was like, if we're going on a hike, I am not wearing my dress. Like, I'm gonna wear my Husker shirt and some old shorts, and I'll just change for our family pictures afterwards. So I was like kind of fighting their plan, and I came out of we were on a houseboat, and I came out of the bedroom, and everyone was like, nice clothes, everything, and I was like, fine, I'll put on my dress. And then we went to the visitor center, and he was like really badgering me to like hurry up, let's go on the trail. And I was like, I don't want to, I just want to stay in here and read things and find out the history. And I never really realized what was going on until we were on the trail and he was being really, really quiet. And I didn't think anything of it. And we were sitting on a bench and I had picked up this like huge rock to take home that we were going to put in our front yard just kind of to remember our trip. And he had picked up this little like dinky rock and I was like, what are you going to do with that? Like that's going to blend right in. And when we stood up to walk away again, he asked if I wanted to trade rocks because mine was so heavy. And then I looked up and he had the ring in his hand and he just asked if I wanted to marry him.
The three biggest things that I love about Jordon is just the way that she understands me like nobody else does. It's really hard to find someone who gets me the way that she does. She kind of thinks the same way that I do on things, and that makes life really easy. But she also thinks differently on things, which is good, and I feel like a good balance for us. And then two, obviously she's beautiful and she's everything that I look for in what I've always wanted in a wife. And three, I think just her values and her morals that she has really are similar to mine. She has a level of compassion and she just really cares about everybody. That I know that she will make a great mother and a great wife, and that's that.
He's really, really funny. I'm a weird person. Like I goof around and stuff, and he goofs right back, sometimes more. Sometimes I think he's actually weird, so that's a really big one. I think he's super handsome, and that's always a plus there. But mostly I love how much he supports me in everything. He really makes me feel like a queen all the time when I'm going through a rough day, or if work's been really crazy, he's always there to make me feel a lot better and cheer me up, and that's a big thing.
I think the thing that I'm most excited for is that just having kids, having a family that we both always wanted, and just kind of getting to carry out our dreams together and have somebody that I love beside me while we do it. So pretty simple, but that's really all I've wanted. So
more or less just having kids. I've always wanted to be a mom, and he knows that, but I'm most excited to see him be a dad. Seeing the way that he is around kids and how he interacts with them and connects to kids so well just gets me really excited to see him be a father, and I know he's going to be great at it.
Just that I love her, and that I wouldn't ever want her to change who she is, because I think she's perfect the way that she is. And I know that she'll be a great wife and a great mother, and always my best friend.
Well, first of all, I love you a ton. And thank you for being so supportive with everything, with my crazy life and all my emotions and all that stuff. And I just hope that when we're going through our rough times, we can remember today and our wedding day and just all the hope and love that we have for our future.